Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of ED 681. I just wanted to give you this brief overview of what we're doing this week because I know that getting started, especially if you're taking an online class for the first time, can be sometimes a little bit daunting about where to begin and how to navigate the course. So each of the classes are given online in a module. You'll have one module a week. Each module will have a section on content and application, and most of the time there'll be a discussion. Okay, most of the time. Some weeks we won't have a discussion, but most weeks we will. This week, for our second module, I'm going to ask you to look at the 9 myths about language learning that are presented in Soltero's text in chapter 1. And after reading those myths, I would like you to tell me the following in a short response. Have you encountered those myths in your own teaching and learning, and which were most interesting or disturbing? Which myths? And why do you think those myths exist? So I want you to think really critically about the statements, the myths that Soltero is talking about, and connect them to your own work as a professional teacher or future teacher. The second part of the content and application is I'm asking you to watch and respond and consider the internal and external factors about language acquisition. This is discussed in the reading. If you watch the video immersion, make a brief but detailed response pinpointing the ways you think the learning environment portrayed the film supports the internal and external factors related to language acquisition. So you're making a connection between that video and the readings, okay? Part 3, or part C, of the content and application is asking for a self-assessment. So here I want you to reflect on your own teaching here and think about how you are proficient at supporting the internal and external factors related to language acquisition that are discussed in Soltero's reading in your own practice. Part 2 is an application, and this is a timely scenario response in which you are considering something that is very realistic. You may have refugee students in your class. What are some of the internal and external factors that you will need to address with those students? Okay? So that is part 2. If you are a little bit confused about how to navigate the modules, just remember that you will have typically a label that says read, and then that will contain your readings. If you do not see a particular reading, there is also a supplementary folder of readings at the top of the introduction before the first module, at the top of the Moodle shell. The second part is typically watch, because this is an interactive class. It's a multimodal class, so I usually try to include some videos. There may be opportunities in further modules to explore, and that's where I connect to websites or other resources for you to take a look at and think about critically. And, the last part is the discussion, and that is where I ask you to discuss. That's an opportunity basically for you to have an ongoing discussion back and forth with your colleagues and hear the voices of your colleagues. It's a part where I monitor but don't heavily participate in, because I want you to have that space to be able to discuss with your colleagues critical thinking and application to your own work, and just have that space to be able to interact with your colleagues. Okay, so you should also make sure that you are looking at the submission button. It's a little, on Moodle, it's a little hand with a paper in it. Here's a, it's always good to do visuals in the SOL. It's a little hand with a paper in it that looks like that. You have to click on that and it'll open up, and then there'll be explanations of the directions. Okay, step by step by step in there. I try to make it as simple and as clear as can be. Um, while I trust you as graduate students to be able to interpret the directions. Okay, I want you to be able to be thinking as a general rule. How is this applying to your practice? How is it extending your learning? How are you connecting it to the readings both in this course and in other courses that you have taken? If you are a SPED student or an elementary education major or a secondary education MAT student, consider how the topics are influencing what you are learning in your program. Okay? So, that's all I can think of to say right now. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I'm always here and ready to entertain questions related. I specifically like questions related to the content. If your questions related to Moodle, if something's not downloading, etc., just contact Moodle. Bandit Moodle will usually shoot you an email and help you with any technological issues. So again, that's week 2. Welcome and thanks.